Good morning. This is math for Monday, March 30th, 2020. This is lesson 12. We're going to be looking at data today and graphing things. Make sure your name is on the top of the page, and also make sure that your date is on the top of the page, March 30th, 2020, or 3-30-20. I've already tried to video this twice this morning, and for some reason I'm not getting it very good, so we're going to try it again. The directions say use squares with no gaps or overlaps to organize the data from the picture. Line up your squares carefully. You can see how my squares are all touching. When you're doing it on your page, you're going to have to make sure try to make sure they are as close to the same size as you can make them. Oops. That's the idea. Okay? So the first directions, we're going to look at favorite ice cream flavors. Each little square equals one student. There's two flavors, vanilla, which are the white squares, and chocolate, which are the black squares. So the first thing we do is count the vanilla squares. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I made 7 little squares, and then I wrote a 7 there so I would remember. Next, they want to know how many chocolate squares I need to put in. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I have 9 chocolate squares, and I made them close and close to the same size as I could. I wrote the number 9 there just so I remember. Next, it says, how many more students liked chocolate than liked vanilla? When they ask for how many more, that's kind of like a code for they want us to use a subtraction. So I said 9 subtract 7 equals, and then I drew a line right here because I know all those are 7 and I have this many more. How many more squares? 1, 2. So my answer is 2. The next one says, how many total students were asked about their favorite ice cream flavor? Let's look at the word total. When they ask for total, that means addition. They want the whole group. So I wrote 9 for the chocolate plus for the total, 7 for the vanilla equals, and I added those all up, and my answer was 16. This time you don't have to write squares. They did the squares for you. However, I wanted to know exactly how many students had different types of shoes. There's Velcro, laces, and kids with no ties. Each square equals one student. So I have, for my Velcro, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I wrote the number 5. For my laces, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I wrote the number 8. For my no ties, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I wrote the number 7. These just help me remember. The first question says, write a number sentence to show how many total. What does total mean again? Is it going to be subtraction or addition? Good, it's going to be addition. How many total students were asked about their shoes? So I take the 5 and I wrote 5 plus 8 plus 7. The easiest way to do this is just to count all the squares because each square is worth one kid and they want to know. So I know that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 5 plus 8 plus 7 equals 20. And I wrote that down. Number 4 says, Write a number sentence to show how many fewer students have Velcro on their shoes than laces. When we're talking about fewer, do you think they need addition or subtraction? Right, we need subtraction. So first they said laces, and there was 8, so I wrote the number 8. Subtract, what was the next one? Velcro, and we had 5 for Velcro. So 8 take away 5 equals. I went up here to my graph and I looked at my 5, and I know there's 5 there. I made a line so I could see what was next. 1, 2, 3. So 8 take away 5 equals 3. Turn the paper over. The next side says let me get closer. Each student in class added a sticky note to show his or her favorite kind of pet. Use the graph to answer the questions. Now I want you to think back to when we were in school and we made exploding biscuits and we graphed that. And we tasted shrimp and we graphed that. And we did the green eggs and ham, and then we graphed whether or not we liked it. So this is the same type of thing. We're just analyzing the data. It's a fancy way of saying we're just answering questions. So the first thing we need to look at our chart is its title. It's called a favorite pet chart. And each of those little sticky notes equals 1 student. On the side, we have the number of students. So the first thing I do is count how many dogs I have. How many students whose favorite pet is a dog. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I wrote the number 9. How many students' favorite animal was a fish? 1,